What's up guys, my name is Apple May and you're watching Everyday Movies. So if you don't know me, I really love watching movies. In fact, I make movie and TV shows reviews at my Facebook and a lot of you guys requested me to create a video out of it. So here it goes. And also, since it's quarantine time, please stay safe, please stay at home. I know a lot of you guys are already bored staying at home and sometimes don't know what to do, but don't worry, that is why I make this video for you guys so that I can share to you my top 10 list of must-watch movies during quarantine. As Prince Dino says, enjoy binge watching, you're saving the world. So, to begin with, we have a top 10 on our list is the Project Almanac. Project Almanac is a 2015 American found footage science fiction thriller film directed by Dean Ezralite. The film is all about David Raskin, a high school science nerd who dreams of going to MIT as a scholar, but unfortunately, he was only given half of the scholarship. So he looks for a solution. David and his friends search through the belongings of his father, Ben Raskin, an inventor, in the hope of finding something that David can use to get a full scholarship. David finds an old camera with a video recording of his 7th birthday party in which he briefly spots his 17-year-old self in a reflection. He and his friends found a box and a plan where they realize it is a time machine. From there, David, Adam, Quinn, and Chris fix and make the machine operational. When they succeeded, they did all the things they wanted to improve their lives, but with this comes some serious consequences. Moving on to top 9, we have The Uninvited. Anna Ivers has been interviewed by a psychiatrist about what she remembers 10 months ago. She has been in a psychiatric institution for her suicide attempt after her terminally ill mother died in a boathouse fire. Though she is frequently plagued by nightmares, every night she is being discharged and has no memory of the actual fire. At home, Anna reunites with his father Stephen, her sister Alex, who is very close to her, and Rachel, who is now his father's new girlfriend. Anna discusses to Alex her dreams about the accident 10 months ago. The sisters are convinced that the dreams are messages from their mother telling them that she was murdered by Rachel. At number 8, we have Push. Push is a 2009 American superhero film directed by Paul McKeegan. In 1945, the United States government sets up the Division, an agency that tracks and experiments on people who possess psychic abilities. Two movers, teenager Nick Gant and his father Jonah, are hiding from Agent Carver of Division. Jonah tells Nick about a vision he received from a watcher about a young girl Nick must help in the future to bring down Division. Nick watches Carver murder his father before he escapes. Years later, Division has developed a drug which can boost psychic abilities. All of the test subjects died until a pusher named Kira successfully adapted to it. Kira escapes from Division and steals a syringe of the drug before fleeing to Hong Kong, a common hiding place for psychics. Nick now lives in Hong Kong as an expatriate, but is in trouble due to gambling debts he incurred while attempting to use his power as a mover to cheat the games. Nick was visited by sniffers from the Division who is looking for Kira. A few minutes later, a girl appeared in Nick's doorstep. It is Cassie Holmes, a moody teenage watcher. Cassie offers help to Nick in finding a case that cost $6 million, yet the case was in the hand of Kira, according to Cassie. Nick wasn't convinced, so he left Cassie. However, a group of bleeders spots them and then Nick to be wounded. Teresa's toe, a stitch, other term for healer, heals Nick. Cassie and Nick reunites, and Nick decided to help Cassie find the case. Cassie and Nick were directed to the port where they can find the girl who has the case. Nick was surprised that the girl who they are looking for was her ex-girlfriend Kira. Kira told Nick that he doesn't have the case. What is in the case that cost $6 million? And will they ever find it before the Division finds it? Top 7 on our list is the Knives Out. Knives Out is a 2019 American mystery film. A wealthy crime novelist, Harlan Thrombey, invites his family to his Massachusetts mansion for his 85th birthday party. The next morning, Harlan's housekeeper, Fran, finds him dead with a slit on his throat. The police are convinced it was a suicide, but an anonymous party pays Private Detective Bennett Blanc to investigate. Blanc learns that Harlan's relationships with his family were strained. He threatened to expose his son-in-law Richard for cheating on his wife Linda, cut off his daughter-in-law Joni's allowance for stealing from him, fired his younger son Walt from his publishing company, and had an altercation with his black sheep grandson Ransom. Unknown to Blanc, after the party, Harlan's nurse Martha Cabrera accidentally administered him an overdose morphine instead of his usual medication. She could not find the antidote, leaving Harlan minutes to live. To protect Martha, Harlan gave her instructions to create a false alibi to avoid suspicion over his death, then slit his own throat. Moving on to top 6, we have the In the Shadow of the Moon. In the Shadow of the Moon is a 2019 American science fiction thriller film directed by Jim Mickle. The story dates back in 1988, where several people simultaneously hemorrhaged to death in Philadelphia, disintegrating their brains and causing massive blood loss. A police officer named Thomas Lockhart believes that this case would be his ticket to becoming a detective. He investigates the deaths. However, Detective Holt, Thomas Lockhart's brother-in-law, initially dismisses Lockhart's observations, but eventually admitted the deaths are connected when they found out similar punctured wounds at the back of the neck of all victims. Detective Holt organized a citywide manhunt. Lockhart and Maddox finds the suspect and chase her to the subway station. When Lockhart confronts her, the suspect reveals details of Lockhart's life, including his wife who is about to give birth to their daughter. Lockhart was about to arrest the suspect when she fought back, giving Lockhart no choice but to use the same device which she uses to her victims. She lost balance, fell, and was hit by a train. 9 years later, an apparent copycat begins another killing spree. All victims have the same puncture wounds at the back of the neck. They open the case for an investigation. Lockhart traces the keys that was retrieved in the year 1988 to an aircraft manufactured in 1996. You're probably wondering, how did the suspect have a key in 1988 which was manufactured only in 1996? Does this movie have some kind of time travel thing? Find out by watching the movie at Netflix. And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Netflix, so Netflix, but can I, man? Moving on to top 5, we have The Invisible Guest. The Invisible Guest is a 2016 Spanish mystery thriller film. A businessman named Adrian Doria is out on bail after being arrested for the murder of his lover, Laura Vidal. His lawyer, Felix Leiva, hires prestigious defense attorney Virginia Goodman, who visits him early one morning with the news that the prosecutor has found a witness who will be testifying in front of a judge soon, so he must tell the whole story quickly. Adrian tells Virginia how he and Laura ended their affair months ago, but received a call blackmailing them to come to a rural hotel while bringing €100,000. At the hotel, Adrian was attacked that ended him to be unconscious. He woke up and found Laura dead in the bathroom. The police arrived and arrest Adrian for murdering Laura. After his arrest, his wife leaves him and takes their young daughter. Virginia insists Adrian is not telling her the whole truth. If you like crime, thriller, drama, mystery, suspense kind of things, this is a great movie for you. Moving on to top 4, we have the Ready or Not. Ready or Not is a 2019 American comedy horror film. Young brothers Alex and Daniel Ledomas are seen running through the halls of a house. Daniel, the older brother, leads Alex to hide in a closet where a man approaches him, begging Daniel to help him. Daniel looks at him for a moment but ended up yelling, calling the attention of his family. The man runs but was stopped by Daniel's family.
One of them shoots the man in the chest, and a woman in a wedding dress pleads for them to stop. The man is picked up off the ground and dragged into a room. The door of the room then shuts behind them. 30 years later, Alex has returned home to marry his fiancée Grace, a former foster child eager to finally have a family. On their wedding night, he tells her that, as a tradition, every outside additional to the family must play a game. Grace has to draw a card, and whatever is written there, all of them are going to play it. It is explained that their ancestor, Victor Lidomas, made a deal with a man named Libile. Libile would build the Lidomas' fortune in exchange for the Lidomas' observing this tradition. Grace draws a card labeled Hide and Seek. Unaware of the truth, she hides while the Lidomas arm themselves with antique weapons to hunt her down. When Grace witnesses Emily accidentally killing one of the maids, believing it to be her, Alex confesses that the Hide and Seek card was the only game that requires the family to kill the recipient. They believe that if Grace survives until dawn, the entire family will die, as per the agreement with Libile. He kept the truth from Grace, knowing she would leave him if she knew. The last time someone pulled that card was 30 years ago when Helen's husband was killed. Shocked, scared, and angry, Grace becomes determined to survive. She is discovered by Daniel, who is disillusioned with the bloody family tradition and gives her a head start. To prevent this family from tracking Grace, Alex destroys the security monitors before being restrained by Daniel and Tony.
Will Grace be able to survive till dawn? Top 3 on our list is the Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge is a 2016 biographical war drama film directed by Mel Gibson. In rural 1920s Virginia, the young Desmond Doss nearly kills his little brother Hal while roughhousing. This event and his Seventh-day Adventist upbringing reinforced Desmond's belief in the commandment, "Thou shalt not kill." Years later, Doss takes an injured man to the hospital and meets a nurse, Dorothy Shute. The two strikes a romance, and Doss tells Dorothy of his interest in medical work. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Doss enlists in the army to serve as a combat medic. His father, Tom, a World War I veteran, is deeply upset by the decision. Before leaving for Fort Jackson, Desmond asks for Dorothy's hand in marriage and she accepts it. Doss is placed in basic training under the command of Sergeant Howell. He excels physically but becomes an outcast among his fellow soldiers for refusing to handle a rifle and train on Saturdays. Howell and Captain Glover attempt to discharge Doss for psychiatric reasons under Section 8, but was overruled as Doss' religious beliefs do not constitute mental illness. They subsequently torment Doss by putting him through grueling labor, intending to get Doss to leave of his own accord. Despite being beaten one night by his fellow soldiers, he refuses to identify his attackers and continues training. Doss' unit completes basic training and is released on leave, during which Doss intends to marry Dorothy, but his refusal to carry a firearm leads to an arrest for insubordination. Captain Glover and Dorothy visits Doss in jail and try to convince him to plead guilty so that he can be released without charge, but Doss refuses to compromise his beliefs.
At number 2, we have In the Tall Grass.
In the Tall Grass is a 2019 Canadian supernatural horror drama film written and directed by Vincenzo Natali. Siblings Becky is 6 months pregnant and Cal DeMuth travel to San Diego so Becky can live with her aunt. While stopped outside an old church, the pair hears a young boy named Tobin call for help from a nearby field of tall grass. They later hear his mother Natalie begging him not to call for any help. Concerned, the pair enters but quickly gets separated. The siblings trying to figure out how to find each other. The siblings realized something was wrong. Carl panicked and started running into the grass. He stumbled and fell. He looks at the grass on the other side and saw a dead dog. This was the dog of Tobin, the kid who was calling the siblings from the beginning who asked for help. Time passed. It's starting to get dark. While Becky was walking through the grass, she ran into Tobin's father, Ross Humboldt. Ross asked Becky to come with him and find Carl together. Becky agreed. On the other hand, Carl kept on shouting Becky's name and murmured he would never find his sister. Out of nowhere, Tobin appeared and says he can find things, but it's easier once they're dead. He said this to Carl while holding a dead bird. He also mentioned that the grass doesn't move dead things.
And now for the most awaited top one on our list is the Mirage.
Mirage or Durante la Tormenta is a 2018 mystery drama film co-written and directed by Oriol Paulo. In 1989, during the fall of the Berlin Wall and a 72-hour-long electrical storm, a boy named Nico heard some noises and sees a fight scene in his neighbor's house through a window. He goes to the house only to find the body of Miss Weiss, the wife of the house owner, Angel Prado. Seeing Mr. Prado with a knife, Nico tries to escape and is accidentally hit by a car on the road. In 2014, a married couple, Vera Roy and David Ortiz, along with their daughter Gloria, moved to Nico's house. They find an old TV set in a storeroom along with a video recorder and cassettes. The family watched a video of Nico playing a guitar while an electric storm similar to 1989 happens. A few minutes later, the TV starts broadcasting the live news that was taking place when Nico was making his videos. During dinner, they share this incident with the neighbor Victor and his mother Clara, where Vera and David come to know how Nico get killed. At night, Vera sees the boy on the TV and is shocked to find that she can interact with him. She warns Nico not to go out on the road so that he won't get hit by a car. Next morning, Vera wakes up to a new reality where no one is aware of the above incidents other than her. David is married to someone else. Gloria was never born. She's disturbed and then starts thinking if she can interact with Nico once again, then she would be able to correct what she has done wrong.
And that's our top 10 must-watch movies during this quarantine. If you like the video, click on the like button. Comment down below if you ever watched those movies before, or if you plan to watch any of the movies, or if you have any suggestions for me to watch during this quarantine. Let's discuss it in the comment section below. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell button to get notified whenever I post new videos. That's it for today. Goodbye. See you on the next video.